everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new around here. If you are indeed new, then please make sure you do subscribe because I'm trying to upload once a week at the moment. What is this? So today's video is actually one that has been really highly requested. I've had a lot of questions on Instagram about the topic that I'm going to talk about, so I thought it may as well just be easier to throw it into a big video for you guys so you can come back and watch it whenever you need it. So yeah. Basically, if you do or don't already know, at the moment all of the application responses are coming out to the Disney Cultural Exchange Programme, which is a Disney international programme, if you're new around here and have no clue what I'm talking about. But if you're watching this video, you probably do know what I'm talking about. So yeah, basically the responses have just started coming out. By the time this video is out, you may, like, everyone has probably heard by now, I'm not really sure. It's different every year. I think I found out last year in early December whether or not I was on the programme. Obviously I did do the programme, so yeah. Basically I kind of just wanted to film this video to talk about what happens next, because I feel like this is something that kind of got forgotten about. Like, I was watching a lot of Disney YouTubers and bloggers, like that kind of thing, once like to get me through my application process, as I know a lot of you guys have done. You've watched my videos, thank you so much, and I've heard that it has helped a lot of you. So yeah, I kind of just want to keep helping you guys as much as I can. So if you do ever have any questions or concerns about the Disney program that you're doing, do give me a message on Instagram or comment on this video if I don't cover whatever you're concerned about. And yeah, I thought I would just cover kind of the main topics that I've been getting so many questions about, which I'm honoured that you guys want me to give you my advice. And yeah, I kind of just want to help as much as I can. Also, can we just really quickly appreciate my Christmas jumper? It's got a little gingerbread man on it and I love it. Also, I have actually already filmed this video once, but if you saw on Instagram, my SD card wiped itself and I lost an entire week's worth of footage. So I'm refilming, but it's all good. Okay, so Disney program people, if you have got a yes, you will already know that the next stage for your program is to accept your offer. Obviously you don't have to do this. If you want to decline, you can, it's not an issue. But if you do accept your offer, you have to do it within a certain number of days. This will be in your email. By the time this video goes out, you've probably already done that, so I won't dwell on it too much. You would have already probably paid the payment that you have to pay when you accept. I think you have to pay this when you accept, or you have to pay this like after you've accepted. I honestly can't remember. I should have done some research before I filmed this, but I didn't. I'm trying to do it off memory. But yeah, so the first thing that you'll do is accept your program offer, regardless of what program you're doing. You'll pay the payment. This payment basically goes towards your costuming, any housing events, and also your housing deposit, I believe. And it's just kind of general program fees, like it's what they use to keep the programs running. The next thing I would say to do after this is really important, especially if you're someone who's looking at going traveling post-program. There are two stages to this. First of all is to open an easy to use travel bank card. It doesn't necessarily have to be specifically for traveling, but anything like a Monzo or a Revolut or a Sterling card are great to have. As I mentioned in a previous video, Disney do give you like a prepaid like American bank, but anything like a Monzo or a Revolut account, I've got a Monzo account, is really great for when you first get to America and you haven't obviously been paid yet, you've not been given your card, or if you want to kind of be able to save a little money and have two accounts. Like, I know a lot of people really like to do that, and also traveling afterwards, this makes a lot of sense to do. And it also means that if you are paying for stuff in America pre-program, so before you actually get to America, the exchange rates aren't as bad and you don't get charged crazy amounts of money for doing so. So for example, a lot of people that we know, this is definitely getting ahead of myself here, but a lot of people bought their bedding on the Walmart website a few weeks before they went out, and obviously that means you have to pay in American dollars on an American website. So having an account like that is really helpful. I will leave my Monzo referral code. I think I still have that down below. Basically it means that if you sign up through the code, you get £5 to spend, and so do I. So that would be really cool if you guys are interested in opening any of those accounts and you don't already have one. The next thing I would say, the second part to this, also I don't know if you guys can hear this, but I have my washing machine on right now, so I'm really sorry if you can hear that. I'm guessing you might not be able to, but yeah, anyway. Yeah, so the second kind of point to this is to start saving money. I did this but not as well as I thought I would. And I don't just mean saving money for when you're there, because obviously you do get paid in your job, but you need money for the first couple of weeks. That's kind of a given. But the one thing I will say is make sure you have enough money to actually do the like pre-program steps. So for example, your visa, make sure you've got money for your visa appointment. It's not just the visa that you have to pay for, it will have to be travel to your embassy appointment if you have to stay in London because you live too far away to travel home the same day, especially if you're from like Scotland or Ireland. I don't know if actually the Irish embassy is different, I don't know if that's like a thing, but if you're traveling a long way, then make sure you're prepared for that and you've got the money for it. And also make sure you save for things that you might want to take on the program with you. So for example, if you want a new backpack to take around the parks, or you want a new pair of comfy trainers, or like some summer clothes, like those are all the things you're gonna have to consider. And for me personally, it's not something I thought about at first, but I feel like if you know about it straight away, it's definitely a good thing to bear in mind that you will need to have some money saved. I know this isn't easy for everyone, especially for the cultural exchange program people, because obviously you're going to be at uni, so saving money is not really an option for you guys. One thing I would suggest looking into actually is to see if your uni offer any kind of financial help for this sort of thing. I didn't think my uni did until someone mentioned it in the program group chat on Facebook, saying that they got some money from their uni for doing a cultural activity abroad, and I was like, okay. So my uni didn't advertise it, they didn't have anything about it. I just contacted my course leader and basically just asked him. I was like, do you know if there's like any funding for this sort of thing? I was like, it would really be really helpful. And because no one else had applied for it, I got the full amount, which was really helpful, and I definitely could not have been able to afford my flight or my visa without it. So it is super helpful. Definitely get in contact with your uni and see if there's anything they can do for you. Often they really want to help with this sort of thing because it's something really different, something to put on your CV, so most of the time they will be willing to help you. So the next thing I had a lot of questions about was actually making friends at this point. Now I actually found this so much easier than you would think. I don't know obviously everyone's personal situation, but I was lucky in the sense that my friends who I got on the program with, I had also been to my interviews with, so I already know them really well, and that just meant that I could just stay in contact with the same people that I'd already been speaking to for months. So people like Felix and Iona. I would also say make sure you're active in your Facebook group chats. I know it's a hard time of year right now because it's Christmas and exams and yeah, but definitely stay active in those group chats, make yourself known. Maybe one good thing we did was we got everyone to add each other on Facebook and follow each other on Instagram, because it meant you can kind of get a good insight into who everyone is, and you can kind of see for yourself who you think you would be good friends with, or start speaking to people now basically, because at the end of the day everyone's doing the exact same thing, everyone's in the same boat, no one knows anyone. So definitely be as active as you can in the Facebook group chats. If you're not already in them, have a search on Facebook for your program year and like start time, because there will be so many different group chats. And actually as well, there will be, now that you guys know your roles, you'll have role specific group chats, and once you guys know your locations, you'll have location specific group chats as well. Another thing that is really good for this is when you're booking your flights, often people will start making group chats for like Gatwick, certain day of June at 10 AM flight, or like they'll have like specific group chats for specific flights. So if you're flying from Scotland or Manchester or London Gatwick or Heathrow, anywhere that flies to Orlando from the UK, there will probably be a group chat for it, which is really nice because it means that you don't have to be at the airport alone. You can discuss what time you're going to get there, like what you're going to have for breakfast. Like we all decided to go to Spoons, and there ended up being about 12 of us, which was quite funny because we had to fit around a table for 4 people. But that's a super easy thing to do. It also makes the flying experience less scary because you can work out who you want to sit next to, and even if you don't end up becoming really super close friends with them, at least you'd have a familiar face that you know you're going to be sat next to on the plane. On to the process of booking flights. A lot of people said don't do this until your visa's confirmed, but actually you don't do your visa appointment until maybe a month before you go, so I definitely wouldn't leave booking your flight until the last minute. I think at this point losing a flight is probably going to be the least of your worries. If you don't get accepted with your visa, don't worry. Before I scare anyone, you will like 99% be accepted for your visa, so don't worry. But booking your flights is super important at this point because you want to make sure that you've got the cheapest deal possible. January is a really good time to book flights because there's lots of sales on. We actually all were told to book our flights through SDA Travel. I'm sure if you've been through Yummy Jobs you would have probably been told the same thing. You get a discount and like student discount if you go with Yummy Jobs, SDA Travel, and it made it super affordable. My one piece of advice that I didn't do and I wish I had is to make sure that you book a return flight. So when we booked our flights, we could actually, it didn't cost us any more to add a return flight onto the booking, so we basically paid for a one-way flight and then got a return for free, or it was just kind of the same price. But me being me, I was very stubborn and I thought, no, I am going to go travelling, and if I do book a return flight it means that I won't go travelling and I'll have to come home. No, it doesn't really work like that. So personally for me, I didn't end up making enough money to go travelling, and I kind of just wanted to get home at the end of the programme. Like, travelling wasn't my main priority at this point, and because I'd got a new job and all this sort of thing, I had to come home. So basically I screwed myself over by not booking my flight home until a week before I had to fly home, and it cost so much money. But one thing I will say is definitely make sure you do book your return, because even if you don't use it, you don't have to use the return flight. You're not going to get in trouble for not using it. Like, you're not going to get fined, you're not going to get like called up and like, why aren't you on this plane? If you don't check in, it doesn't matter. So yeah, definitely make sure you book a return flight even if you don't think you're going to use it, and obviously you can change it and do whatever nearer the time. So as I mentioned, the next thing you're going to want to think about is the visa process. This is a lot more expensive than you probably think. As I said before, you're going to have to pay for a train or a plane or accommodation or something like that to get to London. The embassy itself is really cool. It's such a fun experience, kind of boring, but it's a good experience. One of the biggest questions we actually had last year in the group chats was, does it matter what we wear to the embassy? Do we have to dress super formal, or does it not even matter at all? I would say it doesn't matter. Literally doesn't matter, as long as you don't turn up in like a tracksuit and a hoodie. Like, I mean, even if you did, I don't think they'd turn you away. Just wear jeans and a top. One thing I will say though, if you're wearing a jacket that's got loads of like badges on it, don't wear it, because you had to go through metal detectors and they made me take every single one of my badges off of my denim jacket before I went through the metal detector. So avoid metal is probably the only thing I'll say. So like belts or like watches, but apart from that, they don't care what you wear. So it's a really informal occasion. They just go in and ask you some questions. Make sure you're kind of clued up on American law beforehand if you're not already. A lot of it's pretty self-explanatory, like the drinking age and all of that kind of thing, but they do give you a little booklet when you first arrive. Make sure you read that. We didn't read it and then got there and were like, but it didn't matter. They accepted us all and we didn't really have any problems at all. It was quite a long day, prepared to be there for a while. I did take lunch with me, but I don't think you're allowed to eat in the embassy, so make sure you eat beforehand, or you know, you're ready to eat straight away afterwards, because it's long and boring. Again, if you make friends in your group chats, you can arrange to book your embassy appointments for the same day at the same time, so it means that you're not there alone. I booked mine with Felix, and then we ended up finding Mike and a few other people there as well, which made the day a lot less painful in terms of having to wait around, because if you go on a day when everyone from Camp America is also going for their visa appointment, it gets really long. So that's the only thing I will say with the visa. It's a long day, but it'll be fine. It's not as stressful or as formal as you might think it is. Just make sure you're prepared, and yeah, there's no reason to be too worried about that. Another thing that I will just add, I just remembered this, make sure you have your A4, no, it's not A4, your visa size photo printed. I didn't have it printed, and it wasn't an issue. They didn't like say anything about it. Like, they asked if I had it and I said no, but they do actually have like photo machines in the embassy, so if you do forget or you'd rather just wait until the day, you can use the ones that they have there and print off a visa sized photo. If not, do it beforehand. But yeah, I didn't do that, and I kind of should have, because it meant I just had to send it to them afterwards, I think. I don't even remember, but yeah. So after this is housing, and I am going really ahead of myself here because this probably won't happen until May / the start of June. I think I was still at uni when housing happened, but it was towards the very end of term. So this will happen a couple of weeks before your start date, so this is something you won't know about for ages. And honestly, it's probably the worst part, because a lot of like my family members or friends are like, oh, so where are you going to be living? And you kind of have to be like, I don't really know. Like, who are you going to live with? I don't know, and you don't find out until like a few days before. So yeah, housing, my best advice would be to do your research. There are 4 housing complexes you could be put in: Vista Way, Chatham Square, Patterson Court, or the Commons. Make sure you do your research on what you think you would be best suited to, where you would feel most comfortable. For example, if you definitely know that you do not want bunk beds, like put Vista as your top choice because they don't have bunk beds, but everyone else does. You can also preference how many people you'd like in your room. It's also down to cost as well. Like if you know that you don't want to spend much money on housing, then go for one of the cheaper options. But at the same time, like what we did, we would have rather had a smaller apartment with no bunk beds, so we opted for a more expensive version, which was fine. Like you don't see your rent coming out, so it doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, just go for what suits you. Don't do what everyone else is doing. If you can try and decide who you want to live with beforehand, that's a really good idea. I decided the morning that we had to book it, so I mean, it worked out fine, but I feel like not everyone gets that lucky. But obviously I understand that some people as well would rather just wait until they get there and meet some random strangers and live with people from potentially all over the world, which I know is the point of it, and in hindsight would have been a nice thing to do. Everyone that I spoke to had really good experiences with this, so don't be afraid or don't be put off if you get placed in housing with someone who is completely random that you've never met before, because actually it can be quite fun. But yeah, obviously it's everything with housing is down to preference, so just kind of think about what you'd want, do your research, watch housing tours or like a room tour type thing, ask other people that have done the program before. I'm more than welcome to give you my very honest opinion on Disney housing if you guys need it. And yeah, I think overall, another thing as well, look at the bus routes. So obviously you won't know your location at this point, but if you look at the bus routes and you decide where you think you're gonna spend most of your time, like if you know what your favorite park is already and you want to be on a bus route that's like decent for that park, so make sure that you look at the bus routes and decide what you think would be best. We picked Vista because we thought it was the best bus route. For a lot of options it is, but it isn't for others, so definitely look at the bus routes. There is an app you can get called Crystal Rider. I think you have to be on the American App Store to get it though, so yeah, but you might be able to find it online somewhere. If I can find it online, I'll link it below. Annoyingly I don't have the app anymore. I would screenshot it and insert it, but yeah. But it also does change every year, so next year's bus route might be different, and obviously because there was work going on at ESPN, there was a whole bus route that wasn't running. So yeah, just research is all I have to say with housing. It's not as scary as you think, as long as you know exactly what you're going into. So the next thing I feel like I should say is have fun with this process. As I mentioned before, save some money because you're going to want to buy some fun things. So you want to buy some ears before you go. I'll link below my 2 favourite Etsy shops for Disney accessories. The first one is Natasha from Ears Ever After. All of my custom ears are from her. I think she's amazing. And the second is What the Stitch, which my friends Caitlin and Chloe own. They didn't have the store when I did my programme, but they basically make scrunchies and headbands, and it's all super cute. If you're not into ears but you still want kind of a couple of Disney accessories, definitely check them out because they're so cute. I will leave a link to them below, as I will for any other like good Etsy brands that I can think of. There's another one called Park Hopper Supply, and they do the coolest t-shirts, and I'm so sad that I didn't discover them before my programme because they have the best t-shirts on there as well. Yeah, another thing that always happens, my camera battery's flashing so I'm going to be quick, but another thing that usually happens a few months before the programme is someone will ask in the group chat if anyone wants to buy CP hoodies, and that basically means the red one that I've worn quite a lot, or if you've seen anyone that has a hoodie that says cast member down the sleeve. They're not official Disney ones. Someone will just take one for the team and design them. You'll send that person or those people money and they will design the t-shirts or jumpers. It happens every year. I don't know who specifically runs it. For us it was a girl whose mum owned a kind of embroidery company, so it was super easy. But if no one does it, maybe take one for the team and do it, or just ask and find out, because I'm pretty sure they've done them every single year for the past few years, so that's a really nice idea as well. So as much as you want to be saving money for whilst you're out there and important things like visa and flights, make sure you have fun with it and buy fun Disney things, because when else are you going to be able to wear them? And the final thing that I really want to stress before I quickly wrap up this video is the Yummy Jobs team Although you've now been accepted onto your program, they are still here to help you. Natalie especially, if you have any questions with your visa or your flights or anything, any concerns that maybe I can't help you with, or any other past program, I want to say past program participants, but I couldn't say it. Alumni would have been better. That any alumni can't help you with, then make sure you contact Natalie. She'll be more than happy to help. She's super responsive and is always on hand to be helpful, or anyone from Yummy Jobs for that matter. I don't know who's there at the moment, but I know that any of the team will be able to help, so make sure you contact them if you do have any concerns or questions. So that is it for this video, guys. If you got onto the program, massive congratulations again. I'm so excited to see all your Instagram content. I do stalk people on the My Yummy Story hashtag all the time, so if you're watching this and you've just been accepted, I've probably seen your acceptance post. Congratulations, and yeah, make sure you subscribe for more Disney content. There's going to be so much more coming. If you do have any other questions that I haven't covered in this video, leave me a comment or DM me on Instagram and I'll be sure to reply. And yeah, I will see you again soon next week with a brand new video. Bye guys!